Hey guys, it's your boy Joe back at it again, Codingface.com. In this video, we're going to be looking for some entry-level jobs for the tech industry, web development to be precise, right? We're going to be focusing on web development jobs. So yeah, if you're here for that, you came to the right live stream. You came to the right place, all right? All right, so shout out to everybody that's in here. Let me see if you are in the live chat. Make sure you leave a message so I could see you, okay? That way I could go in and give you guys a shout out. And yeah, I know we're waiting for some people to come in and pop up on the chat. But yeah, man, right now, just setting up right now, setting up, okay? We just started the live stream. I wanted to make sure I got in here before 12 o'clock so we could go in and do it from 12 to 1 p.m. on the live stream. This is mostly when most of you guys are here and you're available for this live stream. So yeah, I'm trying to be punctual, okay? So shout out to everybody that's in here. I see Kyle Smith is in here, Rainier Luna, Marcus Taylor, Angel Medina, 888, right? T Swag Codes, Deborah is in here. Who else we have in here? DJ, all right. Who else we got it in here? Okay, we got a couple of people. All right, cool. I think we're ready to go. Okay, so let's just start it up. Let's see what's going on right now. Okay, we're live. All right. So yes, we have a couple of jobs that popped up. Right. So let's say over here. Let's check this out. All right. So we got building. Right. This is another place where people do get to post jobs. So this is an e-commerce specialist. All right. This is for those of you guys that's looking to get into e-commerce and looking to get your first job in the tech industry. A lot of this e-commerce jobs are pretty straightforward. All right. Your job really consists of managing an online store, maybe listing products for that online store. A couple of things that they mentioned was Shopify, Amazon, right? Having that knowledge of e-commerce and just at least one of the main CMS systems that's out there, which is Shopify. Once you know that, then you're good to go. The cool thing, like I always tell you guys about these jobs, is that they're not like other technical jobs. Like let's say a front-end developer, software engineer, back-end, full stack. Those type of roles, you're gonna have to have a lot of skills, and a lot of times companies want you to have experience. But how do you get experience if no one wants to hire you? This is how you go in and you do it. Okay, this is how I did it, right? And this is how you could do it also, right? My first job was literally as a product editor, which now is an e-commerce manager, or you could call it e-commerce specialist, just like how this listing is. There's a bunch of different job titles for the same position. And like I said, your job is to list the products, to maintain the website. You're not building anything from scratch. Sometimes you will be building something for scratch or from scratch. And that's when you're building like a landing page, and that's like simple stuff. That's like HTML, CSS. At the most is like maybe connecting to like an API with JavaScript. That's it. You're not doing nothing crazy. You don't have to go too crazy with or applying this type of jobs. It's a straightforward position. And again, a lot of these jobs they pay anywhere from starting $65 to $85,000. Sometimes you might see some that are lower, but they're lower because the entry level is much lower for you, right? You don't have to go in and be an expert, right? If a company comes in and says, "Hey, we're offering $55,000, they're not looking for an expert. An expert is gonna come in and say, "Hey, I need $90,000, $100,000." Someone that has like maybe 6 months to a year of experience is gonna want to get 75 to 90,000. Okay, that's just the facts. 6 months and up of experience, they're gonna want 75 to 90,000. Now, if you go in and you see a job that's 55, guess what? They're not looking for somebody that's a genius. You know what I'm saying? They know that what they're paying, the guy that has mad experience is not gonna apply to that one. It don't make no sense. You got 5, 6 years as an e-commerce specialist, for example, you're not gonna apply to the $55,000 job. But this is where I tell you guys, yes, that's an opportunity for you. Okay, don't be that guy that be like, well, I'm gonna wait at home until I get the dream job. No, you go in and use your mind, right? Use your brain. You go in, apply to the position, let that company go in, see if you're a good fit. If they hire you, take the job, and then from there, what you do is you continue to prepare yourself for your next position. No one said that you have to stay there forever. You could go into a company, spend 3 months, 6 months, you did your work. If they're not willing to give you a pay bump, guess what? You could go in and find the next job, the next opportunity. Do not be that person that be like, well, I'm not going to take this job because it's too low. Mind you, you're making $30,000. And you're like, nah, I'm not taking a $55,000. Like sometimes I'll be thinking about this. I'm like, yo, people are crazy, right? There's people that I know, I've seen that earning like $40,000 and they're doing a fucking job that they hate. They're breaking their back, every day coming out, getting all sweaty, getting all all messed up, looking to catch an injury. And they're like, nah, man, I'm not taking a $60,000 job because, I saw this guy on YouTube or I saw this guy on TikTok. He making 100 and something $1,000. Well, that's not you. Okay. If you're able to go in and make an extra $10,000, $20,000 on top of what you're already making, and you're transitioning into a new career, take it. Don't be stupid. Don't be that guy waiting for the dream job because it might not come. And you might just be out here with a dream, okay? Straight up. All right. Another one that we have over here, Jiffy.com, e-commerce site manager. All right. We're more than a t-shirt company. We support systems, da da da. We're looking for e-commerce site managers to join our growing team. Okay. Again, we have in here all the basic stuff, right? Run A/B tests on layouts, CTAs, product placement to drive sales, monitor core web vitals, right? Understand how to use Lighthouse, Google's page speed. This is all stuff that's super basic, okay? Partnering with operations to ensure real-time inventory management, okay, marketing, conversion optimization, own on-site content, including banners, category pages, homepage features. Again, this is Jiffy.com. Let's go check it out. What's Jiffy.com? There's a lot of opportunities out here, my guys. If you're not applying to this job, you're missing out. Okay, so look at this. This is the website. This is actually built with, it says it's 50% Ruby on Rails, so it's probably a custom site. They are using some JavaScript in here, right? Of course, there's gonna be some jQuery, right? So it's an older site, but most likely they have a CMS system in the back end, right? And your job will be to like manage things like this, add the products, as you can see, different banners, different pricing that's coming in, different apparels, right? Categories or collections, what we would call that in Shopify. But again, this is the website, okay? All of this things is given to you. A lot of times people think that working at this type of jobs that you got to come up with the title, you got to come up with what the description is. All of this is pretty much copy and paste, okay? They tell you exactly, hey, this is the t-shirt, right? Youth Ultra Cotton t-shirt, mint green. Guess what? You have all of those images already given to you. Every single thing, it's already there for you. It gives you all the information about the SKU, all the products that you're going to be uploading, what are the description, what are the sizes, right? All you have to do is pretty much manage the website, right? So yes, e-commerce site manager, that's another position. Another one in here, we got a lot of those, right? It's a good week, okay? E-commerce platform, Shopify business manager, okay? Monitor Shopify site, okay? According to Shopify e-commerce operations, okay, reading through here. All right. So this one's something a little bit more. If you have already experienced, this could be a good opportunity. If you're already in the industry and you already know how e-commerce work, that's a good opportunity there. Front-end developer CrowdStrike. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Let me see. Okay, Expert knowledge, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, web component, REST API, GraphQL. This is for those of you guys that like to work with React. Okay, remote friendly and flexible work culture. Very nice. Okay, they have multiple offices. Okay, they have Singapore, Osaka, okay, Barcelona, Brussels. They have a lot of spots. Okay, very nice. Hybrid. All right, so this one's a little bit in between hybrid and also to, you know, in person, right? Or remote. Look at this one. They have a lot of stuff, man, as far as like Salesforce developer. This is a good site too for you guys to check out. Builtin.com/jobs. You could definitely check those out. That's another platform. By the way, this is entry level jobs.ai. This is a platform that we created for you guys. All of the students at codingface.com get access to this for free. All you have to do is come in, register to the site, and then from there, email us, and we go in and give you access to entryleveljobs.com. If you're not a student of codingface.com, this is pretty much $7. You come in, there's no long-term commitment. You use it when you need to use it. Once you find a job, you could just cancel and you're good to go. All right. But yeah, so let's see what else we have in here. Capital One. Shout out to Capital One. I know they're always hiring, man. Capital One is one of those companies that's constantly hiring. Now, this is for Angular developer. Okay, this is for those of you guys that's in that Angular ecosystem. They do want you to work inside, right? So in the office, so you got multiple offices. You got the McLean office, right? They're looking to pay 133 to 151. Richmond, Virginia, 120 to 138. And yeah, Capital One pays, my guys. I got a couple of people that you know that definitely are solid. Okay, if you have visited our website, please contact. Okay, to apply a position, you require accommodation. Okay, cool, interesting. So they got their recruiting offices that you could call up, or you could actually reach out to them. Cool, interesting. So let's see what's the next one we have in here. Okay, we're gonna go web optimization specialist. This is in Dallas, Dallas Museum of Art. All right. And this is why I always tell you guys, all right, that every company, every industry, doesn't matter what it is, right? They need developers, they need in house developers. So that's where we at right now. Technology is all around us, and almost every single company needs a department that has developers. So it doesn't matter if it's a museum, the museum needs developers, okay? All right, so let's see. Looking for museum goals. Okay, report director. Okay, we'll be managing the SEO or web page content structure using headless Drupal CMS, ensuring it all aligns with users' needs. Okay, so it's using Drupal. All right, let me see in here. All right, web analytics, data driven, collaboration, work with designers to develop user friendly online experiences. All right. Let me see. Do not get scared about this. 5 years site administration, 5 years content management. Almost no one is going to have this. Okay. Almost no one's going to have 5 years of experience with Drupal. Drupal, almost no one uses this unless you worked for the government. Like, you're not gonna find a lot of people that use Drupal or know how to use Drupal. But this is why it's important that you know how to use a CMS system like WordPress or Shopify, because once you learn those things, then you pretty much covered understanding how to work with CMS systems. So it doesn't matter if it's AEM, doesn't matter if it's HubSpot, doesn't matter if it's Contentful, doesn't matter if it's again any of the ones that's out there. There's a million different CMS systems, right? And all of these different companies use different ones. But once you understand at least WordPress and Shopify, you're going to be comfortable with using any type of CMS system. And what you really care about is being able to show that you can do this work. And when you go to the interviews, feel comfortable and rest assured that you can do that work. All right. By the way, for anybody that is watching this right now, I want to also say welcome to all the new members of codingface.com. This weekend, what's crazy, we got a lot of new people that signed up to codingface.com on that new sale that we have, 35% off. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's on the description of this video, okay, this live stream. Tonight is accountability meeting, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you come through. If you still haven't signed up to Coding Face, this is your moment. We're talking about paying 65 cents a day. You're not going to find this at this price anywhere. All right. So again, this is the link over here. This is the video that we're watching right now, or that you're watching. Guess what? You click right here. You click on this link. Okay. This week only. Okay. You got 35% off. If you saw that banner there, that tells you automatically 35% off has been applied to you, your purchase automatically. All you have to do is come all the way to the bottom here and decide what makes sense for you. You want to come in just for 1 month? Cool. You come in for 1 month. You're basically paying $1.95 per day. All right. So that's $59 a month. Okay. You come in and you say, hey, man, we believe in Coding Phase. We believe that Coding Phase can really do some work this year for me. Guess what? Save even more money. You're paying 65 cents a day. That's $237 for the whole year. Okay. You don't need a year for you to get a job and to learn the skills. But what we're going to do this year is this. We're going to go in, go through the Tech Accelerator program, teach you everything in the right order. You're going to come in, you're going to learn about content management, which is those jobs that I just showed you right now, e-commerce, content management, website management, e-commerce specialist, web administrator. There's a whole bunch of jobs that you get to learn on your first month and a half. Okay. Once you have that skill, we go in, we build you your portfolio. We go into the next stage of building the projects. Now you start applying to jobs. While you're applying to jobs, you're going to continue going down the Tech Accelerator program. Okay. So in a year, you should be able to go in and have the skills to be able to apply for content editor, email developer, Shopify developer, front-end developer, and full stack developer. So that's the goal for this whole year. Now, we don't have to wait a whole year for you to start getting your first job and start applying. We do that in a month and a half. It's up to you. I've seen people that have gotten to the point where they're ready to start applying to jobs in 2-3 weeks. So again, it's up to you how hard you want to go. If you want to go in and say, hey, I'm going to knock this out as much as I can in the next 2-3 weeks, we could get you into a point where you could start applying to jobs in 2-3 weeks. Now, if you come in and you do 1 hour a week, yeah, you're going to be here for 6 months. Don't do it like that. That's why we have this accountability meetings every Monday, so I could come in, look at your work, look at what you've done, and I could give you the feedback that you need to improve it. So by the time I go in, I say, hey, man, you ready to start applying to jobs? You just go in and start applying to the jobs on entryleveljobs.ai. We look for the jobs for you. Excuse me, guys. Kids got me sick. So we look for the jobs for you, and all you have to do is apply. That's it, apply. Follow those jobs that I give you, and you should be fine. All right. Shout out to everybody that's in here. So like I said, links in the description, 35% off. Okay. You don't have to trust me. You could go in, check out the testimonials. All these students, all these people came to the Coding Face, got what they paid for. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to come in and sign up to some bullshit where you're not going to get no results. This is not a boot camp. You could compare what we do, comparing it to a traditional boot camp. A boot camp goes in and tells you, hey, we're going to get you $100,000-$200,000 job, and we're going to teach you full stack in 3 months. Guess what? Not everyone learns like that. Okay. So what I do is I go in and I teach you the easiest things first, so you could go in and get a job with that. And then later on, we go in and start working on everything else. As far as like front-end development, full stack development, you have all of that laid out in there for you. Okay, you can look at the Tech Accelerator roadmap. It's right there. This is the plan. This is how we're gonna go in and tackle all of this. Okay. Not only are we also teaching you all of the skills, we also teaching you how to use AI to basically expedite everything that you do. So when you learn a skill, right, and you learn how to actually do that by hand, then now we're gonna also teach you how to do it with AI, so you could do it like this. Speed up, okay? You don't have to go in. A lot of the stuff that we do, that takes us an hour, right? You could do that in 2 minutes with AI. That's just the facts, okay? But you need to know how to use this AI, how to go in and what is it that you need to build. So then from there, you could use AI as a tool to, expedite everything for you, right? Speed up the whole process. If you don't know how to code, you're just gonna go in and do some spaghetti code and do some Frankenstein code on using AI. Don't do it like that. I'm telling you guys right now, that's not how the pros do it. Okay? The guys that really know this shit, they use AI and they making a killing with it. Okay? And just, doing it how they're supposed to. Everybody else that don't know how to code, they're just like doing some Frankenstein shit. And it's like, yeah, you could go in and put some shit together, but is it legit? Right? So that's the problem. So I teach you guys not only how to use, right, learn the skills, right, how to get a job, what are the skills that's going to help you get a job, but then we also teach you so you could prepare for the future, meaning that how to use AI to go in and actually do all of these things for you. Okay, it's a great opportunity. Shout out to everybody in here. We're about to start looking at some more jobs. Breed Power, what's going on? Kyle Smith, what's going on? Hawk, what's going on? Coding After 30, what's going on? What's up, Joe? The only person for the past 10 years who keeps it real and tells folks how to get hired. Yeah, man, I try to do my best. You know what I mean? Like, we here to help people. I'm not trying to go in and put a monocle on and be like, hey guys, I'm the smartest. No, I'm not trying to do that shit. I'm trying to get people results. I want to get people that is on a job that they hate to get into the industry. And the best thing to do is to get people results quickly. What do I mean by that? If I go in and I tell you, hey guys, I'm going to teach you full stack development. Okay, there's a lot of skills that you need to learn to become a full stack developer. That takes you anywhere from 6 months to 9 months to really be a decent full stack developer. Now, how do I make sure that you don't quit? It's very simple. I give you wins, right? It's just like anything. It's like you go to a gym. You go to the gym. If you don't see that you lost at least 5 pounds, 10 pounds, you're looking at that trainer like, yo, this is bullshit, man. This diet don't work. But if we start seeing wins, we start saying, hey, okay, this person lost 5 pounds this week. Now they say, oh shit, this shit is legit. Let me go in and continue. Now they lost 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds. Guess what? Now that person says, oh, this process works and there's consistency. And now I could go in and see my biggest gains. It's the same thing with development. It's hard already for people to come into this space and be like, man, I got to sit in front of a computer. There's people that's used to their whole life moving around, talking to people, carrying things, being physical in a job and this and that. And then you go in and tell them, sit down in front of this computer for the next 6 to 9 months. And hopefully you could get a job, right? That person does a month and then maybe they get stuck somewhere. And then once they get stuck, they'll be like, this shit is not going nowhere. I don't see no wins in this thing. This shit is all fake. I can't really do this. But if you go in and you say, okay, cool, let me show you something. Let me show you how to use technology. Let me show you how to use this programming languages. Let me show you how to use the CMS systems, how you could go in and start building a website. And guess what? Your first job is not building a website from scratch. The website is already built. Your job is to manage the website that's already there. Now you go in and be like, oh shit, I could actually do this. Right? And they go in, they do a month and a half, they learn the skills, start applying to jobs, and they're like, holy shit, I didn't think that I was going to be able to do this in 2 months, 3 months. They didn't think that, right? And now they're in a new position, right? New job. And then now once they have that and they get the first paycheck and they're like, holy shit, I just made $7,000, right? That's a nice little $75,000 a year. Hey, you made your first $7,000 from something that you came, you found this crazy guy with a hat on YouTube who said, hey man, you could do it. Let me show you how to do this, right? You spend $100, $200, right? At the most, $300. And then now you go in and you're making $7,000 on a new job. Okay? Now you have motivation. Now you have the battery on your back where you say, okay, if I was able to do this in just 3 months, what's gonna happen by the end of the year? What skills can I learn so I could go in and start making 100,000 or more? And that's when you go in and you really see this as a something that's real, because now you could really touch, the work that you was putting in. Now you could really touch that. You can say, oh shit, I was able to buy this. I was able to get rid of this, this loans that I had, this credit cards that I had, right? Little by little, now you're in a better position and you're in a career. That's the thing that I love about this. When you are a web developer, this is a career. This is like being a doctor, okay? This is like being a lawyer, right? A nurse, a freaking in accounting, or a teacher, right? It's a career. There's growth. A job, it's a job. A job is some shit that you go in. Like right now, you go and work at, I don't know, T-Mobile, right? It'll be rare that you become the manager at T-Mobile. Same thing at Walmart. You go to Walmart, you could be 10 years in Walmart. It'll be rare that you become a manager at Walmart. You got to kiss a lot of ass. You got to go in and fucking do the utmost to even become to that level, right? So it's a bullshit job. It's a job that you got to go in and spend the next 10, 20 years or more to even see some gains. With web development, this is like a thing that you're constantly winning, right? And now we're not gonna sugarcoat it. We're not gonna bullshit you. Like, of course, you see things like layoffs and things like that, but that's normal. That's in every industry. That's in every job. If you ever worked at a job that you got laid off or you got fired, right? And then you think about it, you're like, damn, I got fired from this bullshit job that was paying me $14 an hour after, a year, 2 years in. And I thought I was going to get a promotion, but they fired my ass before I even get the promotion, right? But when you think about it, you're like, damn, I was making $14 an hour, right? I was barely making anything. Now, in this career, shit, if you get laid off and you be like, well, man, I was making, $90,000, $100,000. I got laid off, right? Let's say after 2, 3 years, 4 years, etc., right? You was getting paid good. Now, your next position, you have experience. So most likely you're going to make even more on a new job because you have that experience. Nobody has to go in and train you. You can't do that with with a bullshit job. You go to Walmart and then you say, well, I got 5 years, 10 years at Walmart. Let me go and apply at Macy's. I'm going to make 100,000. No, you're not. You're going to make like fucking the bare minimum. They're going to give you $1, $2 more of what you was making at fucking Walmart after 5, 10 years of working there. So that's the difference between a job and a career. A career is something that you grow, and as you grow, you make more money. And the more skills that you have and more experience that you have, the more that you get paid for that, okay? A job, you could have all the experience in the world. You could have 10, 20 years on something, and somebody says, well, this is just a job, my guy. Like, you can't make as much as me, and I'm the manager. You get what I'm saying? We got to pay you accordingly. That's the truth. That's just the facts. That's why it's so important to really pay attention to this. It's not something that, I come in here, I talk to you guys about this shit just to be like, hey, man, come sign up to Codingface. I don't give a fuck if you sign up to Codingface. I'm going to be honest, and I'm sorry that I curse. That's just how I talk to my friends. But I really don't care. I want to help those that want to get helped. I'm not here to convince you to do something for yourself. If you've been fucking around your whole life, you've been... you fucked around in high school. You didn't go to the Ivy League school. You didn't get your degree. You chilled your whole life. There's a point where you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, guess what? I got to get my shit together. And it's not too late. I'm 35. I'm 40. I'm 50. Let me get my shit together now while I still got 10 years left. You get what I'm saying? I already chilled. Maybe I didn't have knowledge of this. Maybe I wasn't exposed to this. Because a lot of times people don't get into this, not because they're not smart or they can't get into it. They just didn't have exposure to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like me. Like I knew about websites since like the age of like 10, 11 years old. I built my first website at 14. Okay. But then I go to school and I go to a shitty ass school, a badass school, right? Never forget this shit. I'm going to eighth grade, Miss Santiago from IS 93 in Richwood, Queens. And I tell her, I'm like, hey man, I really like websites, Miss Santiago. Here's the website that I did. And she's like, oh, that's nice. But that's like graphic design. You know, that's not gonna go anywhere. That's like everything is getting sent to India. Mind you, I'm like 14 years old, 13 years old at the time. This teacher comes in and tells me, hey man, don't even do this thing because this thing there's no future in this. There's no jobs in this thing. This thing's not going nowhere. But this is the mentality that people have in the hood. So now you got the teacher who's in the hood telling the kid that's in the hood to not even think about, hey, that you could even build a website, that you could even do this thing, that this thing is a career, that this is a possibility. I go in and I leave it alone for 10 years because of that teacher, right? Because she told me this shit is not going nowhere. This shit is, there's really no opportunities for this thing because all of this thing is going to India. Nobody's really hiring for this. This is like graphic design. It's like something that, comes and goes. That's what she told me. I left it alone, right? And I came back to it at the age of 24. Now, if I didn't do that, where would I be at right now? Y'all tell me. There's a bunch of scenarios. In a parallel world right now, Joe is an Uber driver. In a parallel world, Joe right now is a teacher at some fucking school, maybe, teaching for $50,000 a year. In a parallel world, Joe is probably at a bodega making chopped cheese sandwiches. Okay? In another parallel world, right? This shit's like Sliders. If you guys have never seen the show Sliders, go search Sliders on Amazon or Paramount. It's a legit show, right? Every episode is a new world of like the same people and things that could have happened to them in different worlds. So in this parallel worlds, right? Joe could have been shit. Who knows? I could have went to a party, got into a fight with somebody, knocked them out. Joe's in jail. Or in a parallel world, I could have stayed in Dominican Republic and now Joe's the president of Dominican Republic. Who knows? But one thing that I know in this world, I'm a developer, right? I'm a developer that has made millions of dollars with the skills that he has, right? And if I didn't go into the space, who knows where I would have been at? Having a bullshit job instead of having a career. That's what I'm trying to put into you guys, into your mind. Now, again, when you see me here, I like to come in here, show the jobs, show the opportunities, but I'm not here to convince you. You have to convince yourself. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yo, am I on the right path? Am I doing something to change this trajectory that I'm going on? Or I'm just sliding through life and just letting the current take me wherever it takes me? Nah, you got to go against the current. You got to go in and say where the money is going is in tech. Everyone knows that, okay? You want to be part of the people that's making the cars, right? Not the people that's over here fucking holding a horse. You know what I'm saying? You're over here carrying, rolling around with a horse in 1898, right? We know this car's coming. So guess what? Where do I want to go in and invest my time in? I want to go into making cars or maintaining cars. Maybe I'm not smart enough to make a car, or maybe I just not willing to learn as much to make the car, but I'll grease and maintain the car. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Right? Now it's up to you what you want to do with your life after that. Shout out to Coding After 30. Okay? Coding After 30 says, that's how I did it. I started from content editor to WordPress theme developer to React developer to YouTuber. Developer advocate for Strappy from $13 an hour to, yeah, people don't believe it. This is how you start. I started at $13 an hour, man. And it's not where you start at, it's where you end up at. Okay? Because there's people that come in and be like, yeah, man, Like, for example, right? I always go back to the story, but I'll never forget this shit. One of my friends goes in and says, "Hey man, they hiring at FedEx," and I'm like, "Yo, that shit blew my mind." They're like $18 at the time. You get to drive the truck. You come in. You do your packages. Da da da. $18, bro. Now for us, that was like big. That's like two times because, you go to Macy's and they're paying you $9.50. So you're making double on FedEx, right? But now that I think about it, I did the right choice. I could have went to FedEx. I could have done any of those bullshit jobs. But I said, you know what? Let me go in and take this opportunity, right? Get this first job, $13 an hour, managing a e-commerce store, and the products that they have on eBay, on Amazon, Overstock, Sears, right? And once I did that, that helped me get the experience that now where I could apply as a front end developer, right? So $13, and mind you, when I got in there, that job was $13 on that job. I didn't stay there long. I was there for like 2-3 months. $13, right? Let's see, $13 times 40, right? Times 52. That's $27,000. Okay. Now, because I got that job as a content editor, product editor, right? Because I got that job, that helped me get another job, which was for, I believe it was like $48,000. Let's just keep it at 50, right? Because I also didn't stay there long. I stood there for like another 6-7 months. Every time that I get a new opportunity, I'm jumping ship. That's just the facts. Okay. I give the companies a heads up. I'm like, hey man, I got more skills. I could do more work here. Y'all want to pay me a little bit more? I stay here. Y'all don't want to pay me no? Okay, cool. I got this other opportunity. But from going from $13 an hour, right? $50,000, right? Let's say on average, let's say 50,000 divided by 52 divided by 40, right? I was basically making $24, $25 an hour. Okay, so I went from $13, did that for 2-3 months, right? Went in, got an offer as a junior front end developer, right? And that was for $24,000. Then from there, I started doing contract work, and I got addicted to the contract work. I was like, "Oh, Creative Circle, y'all got some work for me." I was showing up there like, "What's going on?" I'm scratching all over the place. Let's make some money, man. You know. For those of you guys that don't know what Creative Circle is a staffing agency. So they work with a bunch of companies, you know. So let me see if I show you Creative Circle. If you ever heard of Robert Half, they're also similar to Robert Half and Creative Circle. Okay. But what they do is they do a lot of contract work. Okay. A lot of contract work. So you see, you got freelance, you got full time. Okay. So in here you'll have like really big companies that's looking to hire people. And what they do is they basically they basically pimp you out, right? So let's say for example, you're making $110,000, $130,000 for a company, right? Creative Circle does the contract for you. So even though you're making 110, they're charging them 150. It's the same thing for, like, let's say when I used to work with them, if they will pay, like a company will come in and pay $100,000 for me, right? And I will end up keeping 75, 80,000. The rest, Creative Circle will go in and basically get paid. Okay. But the cool thing about it is that it taught me a lot. It got me in the game. It taught me everything that I needed to know as far as like full stack. I had companies that I work for email development. I work doing CMS websites, right? I work on Laravel, right? I got introduced to Ruby on Rails, full stack applications. So because I was able to do all of those things, it allowed me to also pick and choose what companies I wanted to do. But it's a process. This is what I'm telling you. So it's not where you start at, it's where you end up at. You get what I'm saying? So that's the goal, man. Shout out to everybody that's in here. We're about to continue looking for some jobs. Reading through here. Okay. I already like the video. Yes, give the video a like, guys. Let me see. Reading through here. We got Renee in here. What's going on, Renee? Jabari McIntosh, sub Joe. Sometimes you got to stretch her out. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I see universities looking for web administrators all the time. Yes. Let me see. Reading through here. Yes, crackhead prices, man. Codingface.com. Crackhead prices right now, my guys. You can't go wrong. Links in the description. Okay? You tell me who's gonna come in and do all the work that we do for you, right? For 65 cents a day. Okay? Just to give you a heads up, right? Tutoring, okay? I'm gonna give you like a quick heads up, right? What's the name of this company? Elements. I'm gonna tell you right now. See what's the name of it. But just to give you a heads up, right? Companies are literally charging, right? And just to keep it even more simple, okay? How much this is like crackhead prices, okay? For you to go in and sit down with somebody who has 10 years in the game, right? And can go in and mentor you, it's gonna cost you $100 an hour at the bare minimum, okay? Now, when you come into codingface.com, every week you have 2 hours with me. And I usually give around 10 to 20 minutes for each person that comes in. And sometimes if we have to stay longer, if I have to stay till 10 o'clock at night, I'll stay till 10 o'clock at night so I could answer everybody's questions. That's 3 hours. Okay? If you go in just by the mentorship and the coaching, right, that we do, you calculate how much is that. Okay? There's 52 weeks, and that's $100 an hour. Let's just say $100 an hour. Let's go even cheaper. Let's say you say, yo, I will pay $50 an hour to come in and pick your brain, help me out with this and that, right? $50. That's like $2,500 a year. You're paying 65 cents. Sometimes when I look at this shit and I look at the numbers, I'm like, yo, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? Yo. And it's cool because I like to help people out. But I'll be thinking, I'm like, yo, this shit, when I break down the numbers, I'm like, yo, I'll be just thinking in my head, I'm like, yo, I could literally go in, I could start coaching and just do tutoring. I'll probably make more money than the meetings that I do every single week. Like, it's crazy like that. But it's fine because at the end of the day, what happens is most students come in, they get their job, and once they get their job, they continue with coding fees. So, it's an investment that I do to then from there help you out in the long term, right? So yeah, it's still fine. But I'll just be thinking about it. I'm like, yo, I know, like, for example, damn, I'm trying to find what's the name of this company. There's a company, let me see if I saved it, right? They do, damn, what's the name? Is it, let me see. Let's see if it's here. They do, what's the name? Not coaching. I think it's called Elements or, damn, what's the name of that company? But they basically charge like $250 for like 1 hour to go in and have like someone come in and look at your portfolio and look at your work. And that's why I tell you guys is like, yo, the things that I do here on codingface.com, some of you guys don't understand. Like, y'all getting such a great deal. Like, it's like some shit that I'll be thinking about. I'm like, yo, I can't believe I'll be doing it this fucking cheap. Like, this is crazy, but it is what it is. Because next year we're doing a whole different model. Next year, my whole goal for next year is I'm only gonna work with probably 100 students next year. Whoever is like already signed up to Codingface, I'll continue to work with you. Your grandfather in. Next year, what I'll probably do is just 100 students per year, and it'll probably be $1,000 to $2,000. That's it. I don't need to go in and do anything other than that, right? But for now, take advantage. Because my plan is to go in and say, hey, man, instead of even doing a monthly or yearly, next year is just like, hey, I'll sell you the whole program and I work with you until you get hired. Once you get hired, my responsibilities is done, but you have access to all the courses. So basically, for $1,000, $2,000, I work with you until you get hired, right? Once you get hired or you make your money back from what you already invested, then from there, I wash my hands. I say, okay, cool, I'm done. I work with the next 100 students. And that's it. So for now, take advantage. You're not going to find this price again. All right. So yeah, definitely go to codingface.com, guys. Take advantage. A lot of people came in this weekend and, they say, yeah, we coming in, Joe. So tonight, accountability meeting is going to be lit. We got a lot of new students in there. So it's going to be fun. Look at this. Shopify. Custom theme developer, filter integration, collections page. Okay. Remote position. Okay. We're looking for an experienced Shopify custom theme developer, not app-based solutions to help us customize our collection page filters to work like the Dawn theme with native filtering and clean UI UX. Nice. Okay. This is pretty simple, right? There's a paid customization job. We're not looking for someone who uses apps to implement filters. We specifically require a developer who can handle this via custom theme coding. Nice. Okay. This 20. I don't know what's this. Maybe they messed up over here, but $29 per month. They're bugging out. They're trying to get. It's not crackhead prices, it's slavery prices. It's like, yo, I think whoever listed this, they messed up, but that's crazy. Yo, sometimes there's entrepreneurs and people, they go in and they post jobs and they don't know how to do it properly, and then they mess it up for themselves because then now somebody comes in and looks at that and says, $29 per month. I don't know if I want to apply here. And then you miss out like a really good talented developer that could have helped you out because you was attentioning and you didn't pay attention to the most basic shit. Like put the right price, the right salary. Okay. At Spirit Jersey, we're not just making garments. Okay. Shopify design and developer who also brings strong motion graphic. Okay, let's see. 3 to 5 years Shopify design. Okay, knowledge. Okay, 125,000. Okay, apparel industry. Very nice. So this is a good opportunity. I will still apply to this position because even though they're saying Shopify designer and developer, I believe that sometimes these companies, they get this wrong. They mix the fact that the design part, they think that you're designing it, right? But really what you're doing is using the WYSIWYG, or let's say the Shopify's dashboard to be able to create these things, right? So sometimes they be listing things. I'm like, yo, people don't know how to list it. They don't know how to put the right title, because right now, let's say somebody's a good Shopify developer and they see Shopify designer, he might not apply there because he thinking that you're asking for a designer. That's why it's important to just apply to a position. Let them explain it to you to say, hey man, we're actually looking for a designer. Because the truth is that a designer is not going to know Liquid. It's not going to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. They're not going to know these things. Okay? So when you start mentioning these things, that lets me know, oh, you're looking for a Shopify developer. You just don't know that this shit has nothing to do with design. Okay? You're looking for a front-end developer. They just don't know. Let me see. Shout out to everybody in here. T-Swag says, if you already signed up, is that price locked in if you already signed up? Yes. If you're already a member to codingface.com, your price is your price. Everyone has a different pricing because you could come in and, like, let's say you came in Black Friday. Black Friday was a 50% off, right? But guess what? You're not gonna get that pricing until next Black Friday. You get what I'm saying? So are you gonna wait the whole year? Be like, yo, yeah, man, I'm waiting for Black Friday, Joe. That's goofy. That's just stupid to do that, right? A 35% off right now, it's great, right? If you got a 20% off, it's great. The prices that I already give you, it's already great. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you already have, you have a great deal. When I usually do this discount, is really to attract new people who are on the fence or people who already work in codingface.com. Maybe they signed up a year ago, 2 years ago, they got a job, and then now they're like, okay, I want to come back, right? It's a great price. I can't say no to it, right? So let me go and sign up, right? But if you're already a member of codingface.com, your price is already your price. You get what I'm saying? Now, if you was to, like, let's say, for example, your account is about to cancel or renew, in the next couple of weeks or something, then now you could go in and say, okay, cool, I could cancel and sign up again. You could do that, right? Which I shouldn't be saying that, but I don't care. I'm here to help. Like, I'd rather go in and have you help you out. And if you right now you're in a position where, man, I want to sign up and I want to get a better price, go ahead. I don't care. I'm not I'm not here trying to block you from it. All right. But of course, I'm not gonna be able to prorate and be like, well, yeah, Joe, I still got 6 months. Can you prorate? No, I can't prorate. You're gonna lose your 6 months. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Balls of Chocolate says that's crazy. This is the last year. Yeah, what we're doing is gonna be a change, but it's gonna be a change for the better. To be honest with you, because like I said, a lot of people come in to codingface.com, they get jobs, you know, and a lot of times people stay with the platform, right? For example, like my thought process is the lifetime value of each user needs to be $1,000 so it can make sense. It can make business sense, right? So what I do is I go in and I give it to you for dirt cheap, right? In the beginning. So you could come in and say, oh shit, I'm only paying $200. Oh shit, I got a job. $200 is nothing. You just got yourself a $75,000, $85,000, $95,000 job, right? That's nothing, right? So $200 ain't much for a whole year. So you're like, oh yeah, man, this guy helped me out, got me a job, did all this stuff. But one thing that I've been noticing is that a lot of people, what they do is they come in, they get their job. Like I had a situation, I'm not gonna say the person's name. Person comes in, gives me a sob story. Like right now, I don't care. Your mom died, you're homeless. That's not my business. Before I used to come in and I help everybody out. Oh man, here. And then, once you get a job and then, you take care of me. Guess what? Not everyone does that, right? Everyone comes in, gets their job. They say, hey, I got a crazy discount. Boom, Joe, can you do me a solid? And I come in, I do something crazy like a 75% off or 60% off, right? Where I'm not making any money. I'm expecting that once I help you get a job, you'll continue to do like another year where now I can make the profit that I lost on that, right? Because all of this costs money. People think it's free. All of this shit takes money for me to run the business. But then from there, some people, they just go in and they get the job and that's it, toodles, right? And it's like, bro, I didn't even make no money. I didn't make no money. I worked for a whole year with the hope that I get you into a job. And then now that you got your job, you come back in and say, hey, let me buy a lifetime membership. Or let me go in and sign up for a year. Or I'll keep the membership for a year or two. You know what I'm saying? But people don't do that. So now I'm like, all right, cool. If I'm going to make you $50,000, $35,000, guess what? I need to go in and get paid what I need to get paid, which is at a minimum $1,000, $2,000. And that's how I'm going to do it next year. For now, everybody that's grandfather in, if you want to stay in the company in Codingface, you could stay there for as long as you want. We're going to continue doing courses. We're going to continue doing new services and adding new, new features that's going to make you, want to continue to stay with us. But anybody that's new, on 2026 and beyond, it's gonna be that's the pricing model. It's gonna be either $1,000 to $2,000. That's gonna be the pricing model, and I'm only gonna take 100 people per year. Right now, we have thousands of people on codingface.com, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna cut back. Whoever wants to stay with me will stay, and we continue working, continue growing, and then for whoever needs this help following next year, it's just gonna be like, hey man, it's $1,000, $2,000 because it's kind of ridiculous that people that do less work than me and get less results than me, they make thousands and thousands of dollars, right? And I go in and I make $200 or $150, and I bust my ass a whole year, right? And sometimes even longer than that, But it's crazy because I'll be looking at him like, yo, like there's another guy, I forgot his name. It's a guy here on YouTube. He goes in and just for mentorship, he's not even doing shit. Like I'm giving the courses, helping find the jobs, helping with the portfolio, a bunch of shit. This guy charges $4,000, no questions asked. He don't go in, there's no discount. It's $4,000. Me, I'm over here with a heart. I'm like, man, I want to help. I go in, I leave it dirt cheap. I can't think like that no more because I do so much work. Now I got to go in and say, hey, man, we've proven this works. We've proven that we get results. Now whoever wants this has to come in and say, hey, I got to go in and pay for what this is worth because I can't go in. I can't trust that people's going to say, hey, I'm going to sign up for a year and then the following year I'll continue with you so you could actually make a profit. No, I'm not going to do that no more. I'm going to say, hey, this is how much it's going to cost. You buy a lifetime membership and ta-da. That's it. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? And I'm fine with that because with 100 students, I'm fine with that. I got other ways that I make money, but I'm not going to be doing all this work to make freaking $150 for a whole year of work. That don't make no sense. But for now, it's still here. Right? Y'all can take advantage. 2025 is the last year that we're going to do it like that. So take advantage now. You're getting a crazy deal. Reading through here, I remember when I was learning to code, I did not sleep on Wednesdays. What? Let me see. Reading through here, what's going on? Shout out to everybody. Register agent services like Infile, they'll provide a U.S. business. Yes, EIN number. Let me see. Reading through here. Tukai says, by the way, interviews in my country for front-end developer are just a joke, waste of time. Damn, that sucks, bro. Sorry. Friend told me something similar back in the days. He was like, so you want to be a designer, but it was my fault that I didn't dig deeper into. Yeah, that's what happened to me, bro. When I was like 14, the teacher told me, yeah, this is like graphic design, bro. Like, that's not going nowhere. It was like, what you going to be doing? Printing flyers? And I was like, yo, but now thinking about it, I'm like, yo, that's just stupid. Because even if you're a graphic designer, you become a web designer. Then you become a mobile app designer, etc. Like, these teachers and these fucking people, sometimes, bro, this is the shit. When you want to get some shit done in your life, you don't tell nobody anything. You just go in and you do it. If you go in and you let other people's opinions cloud your mind, they'll fuck up your life. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, this is the truth. That fucking teacher, she derailed me for 10 years. I was into making websites, web applications, all that shit from 14 years old. Who knows where I would have been at if I would have continued? You get what I'm saying? But because she was just like, nah, like she turned me off so much that I was like, yeah, maybe she's right. Like, what I'm gonna be doing flyers? Like, like how much money a guy that makes flyers for a club makes? You get what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, this is not the way for me. Right? But thank God that, it wasn't too late. I ain't wait till 35 or 45 or 50 to realize, let me go in and do this. I waited till 24. I went to school. I was going to do IT. I started doing the work for IT worker. I was like, this shit is not for me. There's no future here. And even when I said that, like, there is some future in IT, like for cybersecurity and shit like that, but that's not me. I like to create. I like to build things, right? I'm a creator. I'm not somebody that just wants to use tools to do stuff. I want to build things. And that's why I went back into, learning how to code, web development, doing all this stuff, and the fact that you could work from home, that was the icing on the cake. I was like, I don't want to be in the office. I don't want to see people. I want to just code, you know? Let me see. We're into here. Lucas says, coding phase is not where you start, it's about where you end. This is what my professor said during law studies. Yeah, definitely. Bog says, I work at FedEx. I just went into high rise today and I was at the top floor. Like, I can take over the city. Then I realized this is probably why there ain't many tall buildings in Jacksonville. Oh, man. Eric Winner says, I drove FedEx for years listening to Joe talking about becoming a developer. Yes, and there's nothing wrong with FedEx. Please don't take that. I'm like shitting on FedEx. FedEx is a good job, right? Somebody got to do that job. But when you go in and you realize at some point, you're like, yo, I could do more. I feel there's jobs and opportunities for those that's not willing to do more. Like, for example, like the MTA, right? There's people that work for the MTA. That's like New York City's Metro, whatever transportation association or some shit like that. I don't know. MTA, right? They're the ones that maintain the trains. They're the one that cleans the freaking subways and stuff like that. That's a good job, right? You could do that shit for 20 years and you could retire after 20 years. It's similar to being a cop. It's similar to being um similar to being a cop, similar to being a firefighter, right? It's like a good job. It's like some shit that you could retire, right? In 20 years. But for me, I'm like, I want more. I want more. I deserve more. I know what I could do in this world. You get what I'm saying? And I know where most of these people that retire from the MTA and are cops and shit like that, and firefighters, I know where they at. Right? I know where they end up at, right? They have a decent home, right? They have the little checks coming in. Guess what? I want to ball out. You're not gonna ball out with those type of jobs. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna ball out. And that's where for me, I'm like, yeah, it's just not worth it. I'd rather go into something that I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna learn skills that I could take it as far as I can. It's difficult to see a firefighter. They say like, damn, this guy is a firefighter, and we need firefighters. But when you go in and you start thinking about them, like, man, I could be a firefighter, I could be a FedEx worker, but then now, when was the last time you seen a firefighter that be like, yeah, he created a $500 million company? In tech, we see that shit every day. You get what I'm saying? There's just levels to this shit. How far you want to take it? You know, it's like I got one of my cousins. My cousin told me, when I was buying my house, he's like, yo, your house it's a nice home, but it's very expensive. Joe, you should buy a two-family home, right? Two-family house, right? And you could live on the first floor or the second floor, and you rent out the first floor, and you're set for life. And I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, nah, I don't want to think like that. I don't want to think about putting myself in a situation where, yeah, I'm safe, and yeah, I got a multi-family house, and I live on the fucking second floor, but now I got to deal with fucking neighbors, and I got to deal with other people to make $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month, or some shit like that. So the rent could, the mortgage could pay by itself. Like, that sounds good on paper, but in real life, you want to do other shit. You want to bowl out. You know what I mean? You want to bowl out. You want to do as much as you can. There's things that you could do in life where it's the safe route. And safe route is going to get you a safe life. You go this way, which could be a risk. But guess what? The reward, once you get it, is going to be astronomical. So that's why I chose this career path. I don't see myself doing anything else. So that's the thing. Reading through here, what is an average price for a website React Next? I'm over a 5 year experience. How can I charge in the USA? Um, it depends, right? Because this is another thing too. When you say React and Next.js, right? What type of website is it that you're trying to build, and like what problem you're gonna solve? Forget about technologies, forget about React, forget about Next, forget about all of that shit. What problems are you solving? Like right now, a client comes up to you and says, "Hey man, I got a restaurant, okay? And this restaurant has this menu, this menu, this menu, this menu." Now you could go ahead and do it with React and Next.js, and you could knock it out if it's like a static site. Boom, great. But it don't make sense for you to build a custom site for a restaurant website, because now you're gonna spend, let's say, a month, 2 months building it, like a complete custom site with a custom dashboard, custom payment gateway, all of this stuff. That makes no sense. What you want to do is you want to go in and use something like WordPress, Shopify, um, you know, or maybe do use something like React, but use something like Strappy, or use Contentful or Sanity as a hella CMS, and then you just have the front end to be React. Something like that you can knock out in a week, 2 weeks, and you'll be like, "Hey, here you go. Here's your website." The person pays you $2,000, $3,000, and that's it. You basically work for a week to make $2,000, $3,000. You know what I'm saying? So when you're freelancing or you're like selling your services to people, you gotta think about how you're gonna solve certain problems for certain people, right? And for different businesses, because a business owner is not gonna come up to you and be like, "Hey, we need a React developer." They don't come up like that unless they already have a website that was built with React and then they need some new features added to it. Most people just come in and say, "Hey, I have this problem." And your job is to solve that problem and solve it in a way that's going to be easy to maintain and fast for you to build. Because the faster you could build something, the more money you could make for that month. Because if I go in and I build something for someone that takes me a whole month and they're only going to pay me $3,000, that's $3,000 I only made. But if I could go in and say, "Hey, I'm building 10 different clients' websites, and each one of them is paying me $2,000, and I could knock out all 10 of those websites within that month," I just made $20,000. You get what I'm saying? That's the mentality of someone who has an agency. When you have an agency, that's how you got to look at these things. So when you're thinking about how much do I charge somebody, the best thing that you could do is go on Fiverr, go on Upwork, see what people are willing to pay. And then from there, you come up with a plan. You get what I'm saying? Because you could have 5 years of experience as a React and developer, but when you say I'm a React developer, that only works if you're going to a company that's using React. A client doesn't care what you use, and you shouldn't care about what you use either. What you care about is like, "Hey, how fast can I build this, and how easy to maintain is going to be." Shock Joe says, "I remember way back when you were doing the email developer courses. I did a stint in e-commerce and a stint. What's a stint? A stint in e-commerce. Now I got a government job. Nice, congrats." Fucking water, man. Water. This water's be getting old. I have like 2, 3 bottles here. That when the water bottles, once they get old, the water tastes funny. I gotta get some new water bottles, man. I got this water bottle here from Friday. I'm like, "Yo, hold on, this shit tasting funny now." Oh my god. Let me see. I got my employees' attention publishing the tutorial projects online. Got lucky doing some work with Python and spreadsheets a few years back. Nice. Let me see what else we having here. So anyways, Codingface, their market for web front end developers, freelancers. If I just want to run digital agency, there will be clients for websites. Yes, there's clients, but you got to go on Fiverr. You got to go on Fiverr and Upwork, and look at what people is actually hiring for. You know, reading through here. I'm just going through the chat, guys. Yeah, Shopify is really eating big commerce's lunch. Yep. Is that Shopify is too simple and it integrates with everything. Like you go in and integrates to Instagram and to Facebook, to YouTube, to TikTok. Like it's everywhere. Like it's the easiest way to start selling products online. You know, shout out to Shopify. That's what we keep the box right there. You know, we stay loyal to Shopify. You know what I'm saying? Those are my peoples right there. Okay? Those that don't know, here you go. We stay loyal to Shopify. You know what I'm saying? My favorite keyboard. They send me that. Shout out to Shopify. Shopify loves me and I love Shopify. Oh man. I'm supposed to go to the next edition in Toronto. I think it's on May something. I gotta book my flight. So if you're in the Toronto, Canada area, I'll let you guys know so we could link up. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be out there with the yardies. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be like, so fam, you know what I mean? We in Toronto. I got my Toronto my Toronto accent up. You know what I mean? My youth. What is it? I always get the Toronto accent kit. Toronto accent. Let me see if I find it. It always my tutus broskies. Yeah, Krusky and the tutu fam. You know what I mean? With my brodies. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be in Toronto like, yo. Yo, you know me. I blend in any spot.
Yo, fam, what up, my mother? Yo, like, I can't even lie, that shit. Yeah, man, do what you want with your life, man, because New York or Toronto don't even matter, man. Make your own city. Broski, do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am, broski? Yeah, shorty. It's the Toronto accent kid. You know what I mean? Tutus, fam. You know what I mean? Oh man. Shout out to Toronto. So yeah, man, I'm probably gonna go in there and and go to the next Shopify editions. Like I said, it's in May. Guys, it's about to be 1 o'clock. I'm about to get out of here. I got a lot of stuff to do. I got to prepare for tonight's meeting, accountability meeting, guys. Tonight, don't forget, if you are going to sign up to codingface.com, all you have to do is come to the website. Links on the description. Like I said, 35% off, limited time only. Okay, come in, scroll to the bottom of the page, click over here. You got the monthly $59. You got the yearly $237. You're basically paying 65 cents a day. This is crackhead prices. This is like me showing up with an 87-inch TV, a 90-inch TV, and telling you, yo, I got this for you. It's $5,000, but I'm selling it to you for $50. At that point, you gotta be stupid not to take the TV. You know what I mean? And dude, imagine me walking down the street with a 90-inch TV, like, yo, fam, Krosky, you trying to get this TV? This TV is $5,000, broski. You know what I mean? Give me 50. This is what you're getting with codingface.com. You're basically getting a whole year's worth of work, all the courses, a lot of cool things that we do there, accountability meetings, entry-level jobs, right? Again, portfolio reviews. We give you the projects. We lay everything out for you. Okay. If you don't believe that we could get you results, go look at the results on the website. Okay. So it's no cap. You know what I mean? Those that want it, take it. If you don't want it, hey man, keep on watching. You know what I mean? But please do not wait for 2026. 2026, I ain't talking to nobody unless it's a lifetime. If you didn't buy this year, or you're not a lifetime member, or you haven't been a member to codingface.com, like don't expect any discounts, any nothing. It's just like, yo, fam, it's like this is how much it is, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? And I'm only looking for 100 students per year after, this year. So definitely take advantage now. Okay, come through. Let me see. Joe, the promo is for what package deal? Is basically like I said, you got access to codingface.com diamond membership, which gives you access to all the courses. Everything is here laid out. You can sign up for the monthly. You can sign up for the yearly. It's up to you. All right. Anyways, guys, I'm about to get out of here. I'll see you guys later. It's your boy Joe back at it again, codingface.com. Tomorrow, I got a special video for you guys. Those of you guys that want to build software as a service, I'm going to tell you about the best starter kits to use. I've bought a bunch of different starter kits to start building software as a service, and I can tell you the majority are garbage. I'm going to tell you tomorrow which ones are the best ones so you could hit the ground running and you could start charging for your software, okay? Most of the software starter kits that's out here are garbage. Not usable, not secure, not legit. So I'm going to give you guys the top 3 that I'm using, all right? So definitely go check it out tomorrow on the video that's going to drop around like 11, 12 o'clock in the midday. All right, I'll see you guys later. It's your boy Joe back at it again, codingface.com. Peace.